Reactions continue to trail Atiku Abubakar's press conference held yesterday over some issues arising from the 2023 presidential election. For the APC, the press conference is ill-timed and a gross contempt of the Supreme Court. In a statement by Felix Morka, National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Mr. Abubakar's quest for President Tinubu's academic records has shown us deep animosity towards the president, who was responsible for his serial electoral losses since 2007. He goes on to add that his press conference yesterday was filled with, quote, pitiful regurgitation of lies, end quote. Thanks for joining us on the last edition of Beyond 100 Days, everyone. This week, I am Nifemi Okuntoye. Join the conversation right now on X, formerly Twitter, using the hashtag Beyond 100 Days. Remember to tag at TVC News NG. Joining me right now to discuss Atiku's press conference and the matters arising is Nigerian Ambassador to Burundi, Ambassador Elijah Oyagba, who joins us live from Bujumbura. Thank you for joining us on the program. Also joining us from our Abuja studios, Public Affairs Analyst Woye Adeyemi. Gentlemen, thank you for talking to us. Let's begin from Burundi. Ambassador, for the former Vice President, the issues he has raised, according to him, define the future of elective government and legitimate leadership in the country. He also says the reputation of Nigeria is at stake and that it affects every Nigerian everywhere. What do you make of this new development, and how concerned are you as a diplomat?
Well, thank you very much. One of the things that I believe that we need to understand at this point in time is that the American system is different from the Nigerian system. And I say this because a lot of people that are commenting on this issue have no idea what the system is in the United States with respect to record keeping and recognition of certificates. In Nigeria here, we call it certificates. In America, they call it diploma. I've seen a lot of people that are even calling it degrees and all of that. But what a diploma means in America is like a testimonial that you went to school. It's not even regarded as an official document. I say this with every sense of responsibility because I had my MSc in the United States of America, in American University in Washington, D.C. I also have my PhD in America, so I understand what I'm talking about. Now, in Nigeria, for example, what you have as certificate is a security document printed by the Nigeria Security Printing and Minting. It always have a security features that after you graduate from school, they give it to you, and then you present it when you want to look for work, etc., etc. In the US, it is not like that. In the US, a diploma is mainly for presentation during your graduation. You just, frame it and keep it in your house for decorative purposes. And I'll give you an example, and that's the reason why I said that a lot of people that are commenting on this issue don't even have proper background to what is going on. Now, when I graduated from my master's program, I needed my certificate, I needed that diploma as quickly as possible so I can put it in my office and use it for my appraisal for promotion. And then I reached out to my registrar and I said, I need this as quickly as possible. And he said to me, look, we don't even produce these things. And the university does it in batches. If you need it, here is the vendor's number. Call it. We have a vendor that does it and they can send it to you as quickly as you want. And that document in question can be designed the way you want it. If you want an apostille on it, they put it. If you want it notarized, they put it. There's just so much that goes on with it. But the point is that it doesn't really carry the weight that we are giving it here in Nigeria. In the United States, anybody produces this, and that's what I'm asking. Is it normal? Is it legal, for example, that it was a third party that produced it? Is it normal in the US for a third party to produce, diplomas for you? Yes, it is. And it's important that every Nigerian understands it, because I say this because I studied in the US. I understand how the US system works. Even before I was admitted in the US for my program, they asked me to send my university transcript directly to a company called West for evaluation. And West evaluated my transcript and forwarded it to the school before I was able to. So what the universities in the US regard as official academic records are the transcripts, not actually the diploma. And I think it's important that everybody understands this. And it doesn't really carry, just like having a testimonial. to show that, this is what has happened, or you attended school. In Nigeria, for example, our certificates have, a lot of details, like, the class of degree you graduated, you have a BSc, and then you came with first class honors, you came with this, and, those are much of details. But in America, it doesn't even carry that much. So that document, as far as I'm concerned, is not actually what we need to give the weight. But that's not, just that. It's important that Nigeria also understand that if you read the deposition documents, there is nowhere in that document that mentions forgery. For example, if you write my university now in the US to say if they have a copy of my diploma, they will tell you that they don't have it. They simply don't have it because they've sent it to me. The universities don't even keep it. Every record for attending universities in America is electronic, and that's what is represented by the transcript that you have. Nobody has that. In fact, if you see the diploma the way it is, it's actually a very big document that there's no way universities can begin to keep a copy of what they've given us. It's actually a very large document. So people just generally frame it and just put it in their house for, for show or for some kind of celebration. And I think it's important that we get this matter very, very clearly.
Sounds like
the former vice president.
Sounds a lot like you're saying that they're making a big deal out of nothing. But I'll be back with you, Ambassador. Let's get back to Abuja, where Mr. Woyade is standing by. The PDP is now claiming to have new evidence to prove forgery. We'll leave that to the Supreme Court to decide whether it's willing to accept this purported new evidences and if it considers them relevant to the appeal before it. But what do you think is really playing out here?
I think it's purely politics. From what Waziri Adamawa Atiku Abubakar said yesterday, there were three key issues there. One, about Muslim ticket, then what happened in 2007, and what happened in USA. That's within Supreme Court. Now, for the Muslim ticket, Atiku Abubakar misled Nigerians, because if you recall, what happened in SDP primaries in Jos, the first ballot had MQ Abiola, Wagana Kikingbe, and Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar scored something like 2,000 plus. Kikingbe scored 3,000 plus MQ Abiola too. The difference between MQ Abiola and Kikingbe was less than 400. So they have to go for second ballot. And that time, Later Adwa came in and he said to Atiku, their camp, Abiola made an offer to their camp that Atiku should step down and Atiku would be offered the post of vice president. So at the second round, the contestants were allowed to speak to the delegates. And Atiku came out and said, look, I am stepping down for MK Abiola. My supporters should vote for MK Abiola. And this was captured in his own book, in his own autograph that he wrote himself. He has not denied it to today. And his book, My Life, his book written by late former SA Media from Kogi. Now, the two books confirmed that Atiku Abubakar was in support of Muslim ticket as at 1993. Now, of course, he has a right to change his mind. But look at 2007. In 2003, there was a conference in London that General Buhari, there was, Tinubu was there, Babakode was there. In fact, Babakode was pushing for General Buhari to be presidential candidate of both AD and AMPP that time. Now, but Tinubu was like, look, I will support Alhaji Abubakar Atiku. That particular alliance collapsed. In 2007, that particular alliance came up again, and Tinubu was very vocal that I am going to support Alhaji Abubakar Atiku. And in fact, Lagos State voted, and Atiku Abubakar won in Lagos State. So, and when he got presidential candidates, of ACN, there were attempts that, okay, let us put in AD component, because he came in from PDP of ACD that time. So they met him. Yesterday also, he was referring to people that came to meet him. There were Segun Oshoba, Ni Adebayo, Lama Adesina. They met him. And he said, give me some time to think about it. There was a large meeting that involved Ben Obi, Adrogbe, Usman Baguje, and himself, plus AD components. They met, the meeting was deadlocked. So, late Alhaji Kaita came up to bring a form to Babakode to sign. And Alhaji Kaita told Babakode that Atiku already picked Ben Obi from Southeast as his vice president candidate that time. Babakode signed. Now, what happened? Tinubu started campaigning for him. So, he actually yesterday, what he called what press conference, just a local press conference, or let me just say, I'm interacting with my friends in the media. There's nothing about what press conference there. Nothing about that. So he misled Nigeria in those two issues. They are not accurate. I quoted from his book. He has not denied the book. Or should I even go and quote my watch, volume 2, page 31, of what his principal said about him? So these are the critical issues we should talk about. That who betrayed who? Who betrayed who in this kind of contest? So the man you felt so bad that since 1993, you've been trying to become Nigerian president. Like they said, power comes from God. So he should move on. There's nothing again to think about as far as I'm concerned. Thank you.
All right. I understand your position, and I'll get back to you to explore more of the revelations that came out from that press conference yesterday. But let me return quickly to the ambassador. There are some concerns that have now been raised about how this rubs off on the country's image outside, given how much work Mr. President has done in this regard in the past days. How relevant are these concerns?
Well, thank you very much once again. First is that I don't think that these things are relevant, really. And I say this because, my brother in Abuja talked about, some of the issues that came up as a result of the press conference yesterday. The former Vice President, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, was talking about his rejection of Muslim ticket. And this is what I find very strange in the country. When something seems to be, a tool for you to incite people, we tend to just grab it with full hands. So the question is, it is not right for Nigeria to have a Muslim ticket, but is it right for a Northerner to be president after a Northerner? For example, a Northerner has finished 8 years in the presidency. Is it even morally right that the former vice president should even attempt or buy form or do anything to come and be president? So when you say that Muslim ticket doesn't make sense, does that now, so what you have done by contesting as a Northerner to continue from where His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari stopped, is that right? Is that really good for the diversity we have in the country? So these are pedestrian issues in my own estimation, and whipping up needless sentiments at this particular point in time. Secondly, I don't even think that press conference in itself was even necessary, because whatever you have, we are just basically discussing these issues and responding to them, based on the facts on the table. But the truth of the matter is that once a matter is in court, not to talk about the highest court of the land, there's actually no discussion on that. Whatever you find, you can put them together and send to the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal has only one jurisdiction, and their jurisdiction basically is to deal with electoral matters. Anything you find with respect to, qualification of Mr. President, for example, you have to wait until he gets renominated in 2027. If he gets renominated in 2027, you can go and now take it. So at this point in time, it's not just that it's status bad, it's a pre-election matter as far as I'm concerned. And from the international stage and from the point of view of diplomacy, The country is, doesn't really need this nature of distraction at this particular point in time. The president is trying to rejig his foreign policy, and so far so good. He's, gone on a few outings that are very, very good for the country, and it's important that the president, sustains what he is doing. Nobody really, if you're discussing this in America, nobody will be listening to you, because in the US, for example, I have earlier mentioned to you, I studied there. You can't be talking about forgery there. What is a diploma? A diploma is not even an official document as far as I'm concerned, for those that studied in the US. So you can't be discussing, if anybody wants anything about you, even when I worked here in Nigeria, beyond what you even submit to the government or to the corporate entity, that they have to write the school and for the school to confirm that you attended the school. And once there's a confirmation that you attended the school, that's fine. That's pretty much okay. When you discuss forgery, intrinsic or, lying behind the word forgery is an intent to deceive you. What is the essence of why would the president that legitimately qualified as an accountant from Chicago State University, what exactly is he deceiving for? What's actually the incentive to go and get involved in surgery? It is in forgery. It is normal. It's the standard practice in the United States of America that third parties actually issue diploma. I'm not even saying that was the third party that issued it, but we're just trying to make a big case where there is actually none, and then basically whipping up of sentiment. And I think it's important that people begin to realize that the president, he has come to this office through a divine way. Every attempt to stop him, he has actually, gone over, and he should be allowed to concentrate and deliver.
I hear you, Ambassador. Mr. Adeyemi, there is what happens in court, but there's also what happens in the court of public opinion. You had the former vice president taking this conversation to Abuja now, saying that, making reference to the work of citizen journalists who, according to him, continue to put out the truth online. You're a social media influencer yourself. How much of the truth in this regard is online, and how verifiable are these facts?
Yeah, if you have read the position from US, you should be able to know the truth from the fake news. But at the same time, the critical issue is that on social media, you have both of the truth and the fake news, and depending on the device you are. But I know some key members of the opposition that reached out to me and said, look, listen, this matter is a dead matter, but, it should allow Waziri Adamawa to be able to ventilate his whatever he had against the election. But it's funny that the same person was talking about how I allowed Lagos to go back to the then Governor Tinubu that time. So it's an indictment against President Obasanjo and those people who were there. And I think President Obasanjo, he's supposed to give us his own view on that issue. But from what he said, it looks like election rigor for me. So, and I think if there's a way, if we have had electoral offenses commission, it should have been tried for that kind of reckless statement. The same statement a senator made during the National Assembly, or Ninth Assembly, sent forth. But you see, the point is there are people who are intelligent, who understand that there was nowhere in that position where the man used the word forgery. There was nowhere. So, and whatever happens, I don't want to be here to be talking about legal issues. We want to respect our Supreme Court, and I want to appeal to our people that they should respect Supreme Court justices. Somebody wrote that Supreme Court justices have rejected the new evidences. As of today, the Supreme Court has not considered any panel. So how will a ghost panel?
We're going to wait to see how the Supreme Court reacts to this. But quickly, Mr. Adeyemi, how do you respond to those who say this matter would have long been resolved if Mr. President himself had voluntarily asked CSU to publish his academic credentials long before now?
No, I think he's right by saying no, because he has a right to privacy. It's right. There are instances, even President Jonathan, that time they wanted his PhD thesis from Uniport. The university declined. He has a right to privacy. I mean, he had been a governor. Everybody knows that. And when he was campaigning for Atiku Abubakar in 2007, Atiku Abubakar forgot that there was there's something like CSU, Chicago. No. I think for me, the president is within his legal right. And now that they've released it, please, what is the change? What is the new development? Nothing. They're just wasting our time. They're preparing for next election. That is the summary of the whole matter. They're preparing for 2027. Like the ambassador said, there's no way you have 8 years of a northern president and now another additional 8 years of a northern president. No way. It can't work. The best thing for him is to set up a school right now to be grooming people on democracy and human rights. And yesterday, he was talking about Gani Fayemi. He has never been Gani Fayemi lover. He's an emergency lover of Gani Fayemi. I'm sure Gani Fayemi, he would return yesterday. He will say, no way, I don't know you. Who are you?
I hear you, Mr.
So
I'm afraid we have to go now. Let me just get a closing remark from the ambassador. I understand your position, being that perhaps there is nothing here and it's just some political gimmicks. But there are some issues out there in the public space. The issues raised about the social security number, the third party issuing certificate that you mentioned earlier. Don't you think that there's a sense with which all the parties involved here should carry that responsibility of coming out to be more transparent, speaking to the heart of national integrity and what this means to the Nigerian nation?
It's important, I agree with you, speaking to the issue of national integrity. The issue concerning discrepancies in social security number, date of birth, sex, whether male or female, I believe that in the deposition, these issues were addressed, even with respect to the dates on diplomas and all of that. It's very clear to everybody that at some point, the president swore an oath that he lost his original diploma that was issued to him and requested for a new one for replacement and all of that. I think that the expectation from a lot of people when this smoke was going all over the place was that the president didn't really attend Chicago State University. And I think all of that issue has actually been addressed at this particular point in time. I think the only issue we have at the moment is whether the diploma was issued by a third party or whether it's the exact one that was issued by the school and so on and so forth. And I'm saying that as someone that has studied the United States of America, this is a non-issue. And that's why I'm saying that internationally in America, nobody's going to be, when you tell people that there's an issue of diploma, this is not an issue at all as far as I'm concerned.
I'm afraid that's our time, Ambassador. We probably will engage you subsequently to talk more on this matter. Ambassador Elijah Onyegba is Nigerian ambassador to Burundi. Also joining us from our Abuja studios, public affairs analyst Woya Adeyemi. Gentlemen, thank you for your contribution on the show today. That's the program this week. Thanks for being a part of it.